Hello and welcome to the Everything is Black and White podcast. It's time for the latest episode of Get in the Bin with me, Andrew Musgrove, and
Me, Sam Mulliner. Hello.
back from his holidays. We had a week break last week. Sam did offer to film and record the episode from around the pool, but I didn't want to uh, interrupt his holiday. I didn't want him to get in trouble from the missus either. So, did you have a nice week?
Yeah, my wife thanks you for that. I had a perfect week. I don't holiday well normally. I struggle to switch off, hence why I volunteered to do the show from Portugal. But yeah, this was the first time we'd holidayed abroad since my honeymoon 9 years ago. First time abroad with the children as well. So my eldest is my son. He's autistic, so there was a lot of pre-flight apprehension going through the airport, but no, all was well, and we had a wonderful time. Portugal is absolutely superb.
You don't look very tanned. I don't know if it's just the
Um,
lighting.
no, I struggle to get a tan these days. Twofold. One, my wife is a factor 50 pluser. Um, yeah, and I just got to be a bit careful in the sun these days due to a previous health scare. But yeah, I am. I think my arms are quite tanned, but obviously being back in England now, it's quite chilly in comparison. So yeah, there is a slight tan, but not as good a one as should be expected. Really, I'll grant you.
I was going to say you managed to go away in the week in which we just had consistent rain, so you picked an excellent week, although it has gone a bit
I
more.
did not see a cloud for the entire time I was over there, and it was like 28, 29 degrees all week. It was perfect. Honestly, it was perfect. I tried
Very
I tried
nice.
shark as well.
Tried what?
Shark.
As in, you ate a bit of shark.
Yeah, a shark steak, yes.
How was it?
Porky.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's like a pork chop, but with a slightly fishy aftertaste. If anyone's ever had swordfish, you will know that's quite chickeny.
Hmm.
With a fishy aftertaste. Same basic principle with shark, but a bit like a pork chop. It was very good.
Very nice. I'll have to add that to the list. Well, I'm glad you had a lovely holiday. Let's get back to the business in hand. Episode 15 of Get in the Bin. Would you like to go first this week, or shall I?
No, you can go first this week. And people are already sick to death of me rambling on about how great my holiday was. They can listen to you for a bit.
So my episode this week is people filming during a game. You know, people get their phones out, they film a penalty kick, they film a free kick, they film whatever action is
You
happening.
do know you've got me from a fan channel, yeah?
No, I know this, and I want to make it clear. This is not a go at any YouTubers because I understand to a degree why you do it. It's for the content, but at the same time, I do just think be in the moment, and just enjoy it. Whatever you film on your phone is not going to be as good as what Match of the Day produces, what Sky get you. And I never understand why people do it. You know that penalty that's been taken. Just enjoy the moment. You know of that Alexander Isak spot kick getting put in the back of the net. Don't worry about having to whip your phone out and getting it on camera because people are going to see it in much better quality, via the club channel, via Match of the Day, whatever. They don't need you to have your phone out. And I just think it spoils your experience of a match day if you're always thinking, "Oh, I need to get my phone out for this move. I need to get my phone out for this corner just in case there might be a goal." I mean, just enjoy the game. It's as simple as that. I don't even think I have to say much more.
This could get a bit awkward, couldn't it?
Well, when I picked this, I was really intrigued to get your response because you're going to defend people who do it. That's my assumption. You're gonna defend the filming it of games, right?
Well, it'd be a pretty boring episode if I didn't have a counter argument, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Go on then.
Well, it's tricky because the underlying precursor to this is I'm not one to film the game. I don't. I am not charged with that task for Newcastle Fans TV, and I wouldn't. I prefer to watch the game and like be in that moment. I like to analyze things as they're going on, and it's just not for me filming the games. I have done before. Like I was front row of the Gallagher this season, and I like you were slagging off recording penalties. I recorded Gordon's penalty against Bournemouth just because I was front row.
But why? What have you done with that footage? Have you watched it back and thought, oh wow, like?
I watched it back with the lads, yeah, because he was next to me. But it's like everything in your camera reel.
But I suspect though,
study it.
when you say that you've watched it back with your son, I suspect when the goal goes in, you then turn the camera around and got you two celebrating.
No, not really. No,
No. So all right, so you've literally just watched back the spot kick.
No, I never. When I record stuff, I never turn it round to me because I find that cringe. And I don't watch anything back really that has me in it because I'm a confidence player. With what Lee does for our channel, I think you can make a different a case for that. The vlogs that he produces on Newcastle Fans TV is a bit more like road movie genre. It doesn't just go through the game; it goes through the day and what we do beforehand in the match, and gets a flavour of the away end. We don't really do home vlogs anymore because I think it's just all a bit samey and unnecessary at times. Having said that, a couple of seasons ago, we went viral with a clip of, remember Hayden's last minute goal against Chelsea? Lee was in Strawberry Corner that night and just happened to be filming when the cross comes in from St Maximin and Hayden goes in. And that, I think it does create a different perspective that you won't get on Match of the Day. You won't get that on Sky, whatever. It produces a quite unique point of view, being in the hustle and bustle with limbs everywhere, people falling over themselves, and the stewards.
You see, that's slightly different though. And you're going to say that it's a really fine margin. That's slightly different. I mean, I don't necessarily, again, kind of advocate it. And again, I just want to point out this is not a go at any YouTubers. And you mentioned Lee there. You guys do fantastic work. I don't want to offend Lee. So I probably will drop him a text just before this episode goes out to warn him. But I think filming the celebrations is slightly different from whipping the camera out and just kind of trying to get the goal, trying to get the next incident and the next event on the pitch. I just think when that's your mindset when you go to a game, you just can't enjoy it. You should go to the game with one intention only. That's to watch what's happening and be in the moment. And when you're thinking, oh, here's a free kick 20 yards out, I'm going to have to get my camera out and film it for the off chance that it might go in. Filming the celebrations is slightly different. I think, you do like to see the kind of limbs, as you put it. But again, I just think enjoy the celebration without worrying about caption on camera, because you've got to be.
Yeah, and I do that, but then unfortunately, like in a various away ends up and down the country, I do have Lee next to me who has caught me looking. I mean, when I first joined Newcastle Fans TV, I was determined not to make a tit of myself on the internet, but that went out the window after Wolves away, Forest away, West Ham away. Yeah. Oh well. It's a tricky one. I'm not a fan. I mean, you think you see broadcasters like TNT now as well providing fans with selfie sticks and equipment to film themselves during the game as well.
So get on board with that.
It's obviously popular.
Yeah, I mean it is. I mean, like this is all opinion. It's not my cup of tea, and obviously fans can do what they want. But I can't get on board with that either, because you now know that you've got this selfie stick, and they've maybe, I mean, I don't know, but maybe you've been provided a ticket for the game, and you've been given a selfie stick as a task to do during the game. Maybe you've been given a bit of dollar to do it. So you've got to produce something worth watching. So my question there would be:
free tickets and dollar to do this? I never have.
Well, I don't want. I'm just speculating. But my point being, if you know you've got to give a video back to, especially a major broadcaster, are the reactions natural? I would question whether they would be, because you're
Mm,
not going to sit there and give them something boring back, because you know that they want some entertainment and something worth watching. So
but it gives
again, that takes.
you wouldn't just be filming yourself. I mean, I look that it. I suppose it gives a unique perspective. It comes back to that point about giving a unique perspective that the kind of traditional TV cameras can't provide. They can't be in the stands and get a real authentic flavour of what's going on in certain parts of the ground. But I don't know. There is there yeah, it's tricky.
I think my main gripe, the whole filming yourself reaction, it's not for me, but more of an issue for me is when you're filming footage. That's the issue. Like when you go to a concert and you film whoever coming out, Dua Lipa and Sam's case, singing a song, and you think, well, when are you actually going to watch that? You've spent 70, 100 quid on a ticket at a concert, and you've had your phone out for most of it, recording songs on a footage where you've had to zoom in 12 times just to get anything worthwhile, and it's not even that much worthwhile. You'll watch it twice and be done with it. Just enjoy the moment of the spectacle in front of you and stop wasting your time.
Did you enjoy Lenny Kravitz before the Champions League final?
I didn't watch a Champions League final because I very rarely watch a Champions League final. I was having this discussion the other day. I think the last Champions League final I watched was the Karius one when he got concussed. That's the last one I watched in full and actually made an effort to watch. Since then, I think last year's was on in the background, but I didn't watch it. I think I maybe caught the celebrations at the end more than anything. The Man City win, but not for me. But yes, I did think about you. He got booed off, didn't he, by the Dortmund fans?
I love Dortmund fans.
And just for reference, there, the point Sam was making in the last episode, he put forward Champions League entertainment or entertainment at finals and
No,
how
pre-match or
pre-match and how
pre-match.
it's just a waste of
Yeah.
time. So Sam was proved right there because the Dortmund fans proved off. But back to the point. I mean, the fact that you don't do it suggests that surely I've won this week,
No,
right?
I don't do it. I don't do it because I don't need to do it, and I'm I am very much in the moment, and I do, despite it happening all the time. So you may struggle to believe this, but I do forget as I'm celebrating a goal. I forget that Lee is next to me, and I'm more interested in a pylon and celebrating a goal. I do get carried away, despite being in my mid-30s. Um, and again, I forget that people watch this stuff as well. So when people come up to me sometimes and want to talk about stuff and like, oh, when I did this, this, and this, I'm like, well, how do you know? And then, oh, yeah, it's on YouTube for all to see. Yeah, I mean, I
But
know I don't do it. I would never, in a million years point my phone at my face during a free kick or a penalty or whatever.
but again, the point is that that's not really the issue. My issue is actually filming live footage of an event of a free kick. I can get by with the fan stuff and the reaction because it is great to see uh, fans falling down the stairs on top of each other. Some really good footage from you guys has made its way in other YouTube channels. But my main gripe, though, as I say again, it is more filming the live footage. I just think, what are the chances that free kick's going to go in? And if it goes in, it's probably going to be one of the greatest goals you've seen. And yet, the first thought in your head is, I better get my phone out. Like, just enjoy it, man. Just enjoy that moment. Don't worry about sending that to your dad or your brother who's not the game. Don't worry about uploading it to YouTube. Just enjoy this free kick being taken, and if it goes in, celebrate it. Forget the phone. You don't need it.
No, it's a tricky one. I remember last year at the cup semi-final, second leg against Southampton. I had my phone out just to anticipate the referee's final whistle because I wanted to I mean, I wasn't consciously filming and watching the events through my phone. I just like had it out because I wanted to get the. I wanted to get it on. I wanted to record it so I have that kind of permanent memory of the scenes at the end there, and I did watch it back quite a few times. And
I
the
think
same at Dortmund. I had a few clips from inside the ground.
yeah, but that's different. That's different. Like people who see me at games, they might say, "I've seen you out with your phone." And what I do is I film the war flags display. I'll usually just get a clip of the players coming on the pitch, and at the end, yeah, I've done that big game when they've dropped to the knees. But it's anything in between that, phones in my pocket, unless I'm needing to be tweeting for work, whatever. But I'm not filming players running on the pitch as a substitution. I'm not filming penalty kicks. I'm not filming a corner that could turn into a goal. I think the end of the game, the start of the game, that's vastly different to filming within the 90 minutes of football. You know, filming in Dortmund, again, it's slightly different because it's an experience you're never going to probably have again. But again, you probably weren't filming every corner kick or every penalty kick. I mean, there wasn't a penalty kick, but you get my point.
No, I wasn't though, because I want to watch the game and I don't want to. Well, because I'm all in. I'm a very all in kind of person, so
There you go. So there's no arguments. I've won. That right there is the argument I'm making. Be all in and enjoy the moment.
So we'd have no more away vlogs, which are one of the most popular things we do on an FT.
You can make an away vlog without having to film a corner or a free kick. And also, where's the copyright as well? Isn't that, I'm sure
Well, I don't think. Well, yeah, that's an issue unto itself, isn't it? If you're then not, if it's not just for personal use, and if you're planning to try and monetize that, then yeah, there is copyright issues. And to be fair to Lee, I don't think he really shows match footage in our vlogs. Anyway,
and again, I just reaffirm the point that this is not about Lee from Newcastle Fans TV or any other Newcastle United YouTuber.
Well, no, you just hate YouTubers because you're vastly intimidated by them.
Yes, they keep me awake at night.
Yeah, which is why you hired one for this show. Yeah, it's a tricky one, but I think that my topic could be stronger for a certain section of fans.
Come on, then.
So mine this week is slightly personal because my lad has been issued a hard, a tough hand in life, as well as being autistic. Bless him. He also has celiac disease, which is an autoimmune deficiency. So he can't have gluten, wheat, just a whole myriad of things he can't have. He can't even touch them. The cross-contamination aspect can make him ill. For example, when he was really young, a egg noodle touched his arm, and he was ill off that. That's how crazy celiac is. So my one this week, to kind of bring it to a footballing perspective, is the lack of, I don't know how you would phrase it, kind of the lack of dietary requirement stuff on offer inside a football stadium, because it's basically just burger and chips or pie and chips, isn't it? I think there should be more done to kind of make people with these dietary requirements more inclusive. For example, when we were away in Portugal last week, they looked after him so well. So well. It was incredible. His chips were done in like a separate fryer, so they were gluten free, no cross contamination. Same with he'd have an omelette for breakfast and all that carry on. I don't think there's enough done at football matches to cater for people with dietary requirements.
It's hard to argue against this one, given it's directly linked to your to your young son, and I'm going to come across like the right villain if I push back against this one. I mean, look, I agree. More needs to be done, and I'm sure in time it will be done. My other question though to you, Sam, is how much are you getting paid to be able to afford grub football matches?
Yeah, well, that's another thing. Well, the fact of the matter is that I personally don't, because I don't want to. Because again, when I go with my lad, unless I've got hand sanitizer with me, which I don't always carry with me, if I'm having a burger at a football match or whatever, I've then got to be careful, because if then I hold Charlie's hand or touch him or whatever, that is cross contamination. I've got gluten on my hands, and that can make him ill down the line. So yeah, it's one of them where we'll have to go somewhere else beforehand, or he has to take his own packed lunch or whatever, which is tricky when you're doing a 7-hour round trip, because obviously you need more than one meal catered for. So to have a bit of thought at St James's Park applied to this, and obviously Newcastle make great strides. They've got the sensory room, which I haven't yet needed to use with Charlie. So that's a brilliant initiative they have there. We saw the fantastic work they did for the Spurs game, for the deaf community, and yeah, I just think there's I think it's a bit of an easy fix as well. It just cookie chips in a separate fryer and keep it away from everything else. It's not that difficult. I mean, us at home, like, he has to have his own toaster, he has to have his own cutlery, his own baking trays. So we've got 2 toasters in our kitchen, one on the complete opposite side of the kitchen. But you get used to it. It's doable. It's not a military operation. It's fine. Yeah, I just think it's an easy fix for football, and it's just lagging behind a little bit. It's 2024. These things aren't a new concept. There's, like, as I say, hotels and restaurants and whatever cater admirably for these things. It's not rocket science. I think football should be following suit, and it's not enough's done at the moment.
So when you go to other events, I don't know if Charlie's gone to music concerts or whatever. But when you go, no, not for him.
Too loud with his autism.
I did think
but
that.
Again, he's a fantastic, he's a cracking lad, and he deals with this stuff so admirably.
But it would be interesting to know what other major arenas do. Do they cater for people who've got celiac? I mean, I suppose it could be one of those things, Sam, that the club maybe aren't aware of, and they have shown that when issues are raised, they do deal with them. So it might be something that maybe you write to the club, you make your
you are on the club gravy train now, with your hosting in these boxes with the great and the good. Maybe you can pass it on to the bigwigs.
I don't get that kind of access, unfortunately. But I'm sure if you penned a letter, or maybe even Charlie penned a letter and sent it to the club, maybe someone would pick it up, or maybe even to the Premier League, and it becomes a whole rounded thing of all 20 clubs that implement something.
Yeah, I could win an award.
You could change the dietary offerings of Premier League clubs. I mean, that's not a bad little thing to have on your CV, is it?
Yeah, I never really considered that. It could be something.
I think sometimes with issues like this, you unless you're directly affected by it, it's not something you think of. I can't say I've ever thought about it.
Yeah, and that is completely true, and I don't expect 99% of people watching and listening will have had this affected, and it probably means absolutely nothing to them, and that's fine. That's fine, because pre children, I wouldn't have given it a second thought either. It's just one of them, like you say, unless you're directly affected by it, which we very much are, and it's the norm for us now. yeah, you just go around in blissful ignorance, I suppose.
You see, it is. It's very hard to argue against this because I'll come across as a right so and so. So your item is um, the the dietary offerings at Premier League
Yeah,
games.
yeah. I mean, look, I haven't even like you brought up the issues of pricing and whatnot. I haven't even brought that up. But again, it's a very, very strong point because it is like everything overpriced. But you know, I don't bring that into it because it's just the way of the world, I suppose, isn't it? You
Hmm.
go to anything. Um, I mean, you ask Aaron about the price of Guinness at Cheltenham Racecourse. That's an absolute shocker as well. So it's not just solely based to being a footballing issue, but yeah, I just think in 2024 when so much is done about various issues that maybe this one's been forgotten about a little bit.
Okay, I think you definitely, in all seriousness, need to pen a letter to Newcastle United and to
Mm,
the Premier League and start the ball rolling and
yeah,
get something done.
yeah, we'll see. Yeah, yeah, I'd never considered, I'd honestly never considered doing that. But yeah, I think you're right. You might have just inspired me and given me a kick up the backside.
This is what I'm here for. Do you know what it is? I'm not going to argue against your point because if that changes and the dietary offerings become better and the offerings are for people with celiac and other issues when it comes to food, then that's change for the better for football. So I'm not going to push back against you at all. As passionate as I am about my point, because I still think really just stop filming and enjoy the moment. But I would
But
rather
you couldn't,
see.
in all seriousness, have a series with someone from a YouTube channel and then slag off.
Well, I mean, you have kind of agreed with my point though, because you've kind of put forward
Yeah,
exactly the reason
yeah,
I brought to
I
the
have.
table.
Yeah,
So
I'm not. I don't feel. I don't do the vlogs. And to be honest, I never would because it's um
it's
they're
not for you.
not. Uh, the actual filming of them isn't for me. No, I think my role in Newcastle Fans TV is slightly more analytical based rather than producing road movies, which Lee's very good at.
Yeah, and they are very entertaining. I did enjoy his Australia vlogs,
Incredible,
um, especially the one where he had a horrible journey. And I've messaged him and said I enjoyed them. And you
incredible.
guys,
And he's going to Japan as well in pre-season.
he puts in some effort as that lad. He really, really does. And I recommend anyone who hasn't watched the vlogs to head over to Newcastle Fans TV. And I'll just reaffirm again, this isn't my point. Isn't about any YouTube people channels in. It's not a specific point against them. It's a generic point that I just don't think people should be filming action on the football pitch. Just enjoy the moment. But as it is, I will hand the victory to Sam because I would love Premier League grounds to cater for people with celiac and other dietary issues like his son Charlie has. So I'm hoping that comes down the line. But write that letter, Sam. Write
I
that
will.
letter.
I'll CC you
No,
in.
no point complaining to me. You've got to send it to
That
the
is a
people
very
who
good
can
point.
actually impact change. So hopefully, this is the beginning of that. We hope you guys have enjoyed the latest episode of Get in the Bin, episode 15 here on the Everything is Black and White podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in. Get in touch on social media or via the EIBW podcast at reachplc.com. Send us an email if you'd like us to discuss anything. And for myself and Sam, we'll see you guys next week.